Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching Boom, the political vigilante making Gotham great again. Truth rising up, folks. This show, one of the reasons I do this show is because I've seen some stuff that maybe not most average people have. I was a stand-up comic that did numerous comedy tours. I went to Afghanistan 3 times and Iraq 3 times and a separate trip to Kuwait. I've done 7 comedy tours in war zones. And going to Afghanistan, the first time I went was 2004. I went again in 06 and 07. And it was life-changing. I was in Iraq in 07, 08, and 2011, and Kuwait in 2012. I've been to Kuwait numerous times, but we did a standalone Kuwait trip. And of course, went to a base, did shows in Kyrgyzstan. And so what happened, the total mismanagement and waste of time and effort and resources and lives in the 20-year endless battle in Afghanistan, really, it's affected me a lot. And one of the reasons I've done this show is, look, I've seen war. I'll never know what real combat is like, and I don't proclaim to know what being a combat veteran is like. I'll never know what that's like. But I've seen more war, more up close than most civilians. And if you watch my documentary, Afghanistan, which is available on rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, I was on a helicopter that came under fire. I've had rocket attacks. I've seen wounded soldiers and civilians, and it really impacted me. And so one of the things I've always wanted to talk about on this show is, the amount of money in trillions of dollars that has been spent and, in my opinion, wasted. We went to Afghanistan. We were there for 20 years. And if anybody thinks one party is better than the other or whatever, I always use Afghanistan as the example. So we had 4 presidents from both political parties spend $3.5 trillion for 20 years, and we replaced the Taliban with the Taliban. And it is a complete insult to the people that served over there and some of the people that were doing good work, that were trying to help. I met some of them that were trying to help. Is everybody in the military an amazing person? No. There's some people that are just there. They like to kill. There's people, they have a high sexual assault rate. So I'm not here to say everybody in the military is amazing, but my main complaint is with the military industrial complex that just sends working class American men and women to go fight for profit. And they make these promises to civilians and they let them, but they bail on them. I mean, it's unreal. And as I sit here and watch America send another $3 billion to the Ukraine recently, we're up near about 70 billion we've sent to the Ukraine already. While we don't even help our own citizens. We've got undrinkable water in Mississippi and Flint, Michigan, and like literally almost 1,000 other American cities have this. So I'm tired of it. And it's offensive because you're talking about real people. And when Biden pulled us out of Afghanistan last year, and overall, if we're just going to go there to waste money, then we should pull out. We shouldn't be there. I don't want to be in these endless wars. And we had no plan. Nope, not Bush, not Obama, not Trump, not Biden. Nobody had a real plan. It's just there to endlessly spend money. And then, of course, who suffers? Soldiers, military people and the Afghan people. And when they when they pulled out, it was hard to watch for me last year to see bases literally I had performed at get overrun by the Taliban. That was a surreal experience. And I kept saying, if this is affecting me, how is this, who went over there and told jokes for 2 weeks on 3 occasions? What is it like for people who got deployed there for a year? And we're working with the Afghan military and locals, and we're trying to make life better. And we're running, like I had a friend over there and he provided security for a girls' school so that little Afghan girls could go to school because the Taliban wanted to blow them up. And so I have a lot of very strong emotions about this, as do veterans, who I would assume it's even stronger. And it's just more blundering because when you have a country that is totally based for profit, we're not a society, we're not a functioning society, we're not about protecting truth, justice, and the American way. We're not even a representative democracy. We're a kleptocracy run by oligarchs. And all we do is just war for profit. We outspend the next 12 countries combined, the democratically controlled Congress, but bipartisan, so overwhelmingly bipartisan support just voted to give Biden an increase in his war budget. Every president since 9/11 has gotten an increase in the war budget, and it's obscene. And it doesn't make the world safer. And here we are, and America's infrastructure is crumbling. We're 13th in the world in infrastructure, but we outspend the next 12 countries combined. It's preposterous. And so I wanted to show the difference between how we're like just helping out Ukrainian people hand over fist, but not the Afghans. And there's an organization called the Legend Group that I just found out about. It's a group of Afghan military veterans, like U.S. veterans that served in Afghanistan. Might be some Afghan military in there, but U.S. military that served in Afghanistan. And they want to keep the mission of trying to help people to get out. So they're trying to get people out of Afghanistan, because look, if you worked with the American military, you were an interpreter for them, or you just worked on one of their bases, the Taliban can now target you. This is what happens when you go into a country with no plan and just spend endless money, and just one general after another. We didn't do that after World War II. Like, yeah. So I wanted to show you this. So this is just from Newsweek. This is last month. Billions in U.S. aid vanished in Afghanistan. Will Ukraine be the same? We've done stories on this. Lee Camp has talked about this. How just literally hundreds of millions just vanished. They just pumped money into Afghanistan, didn't know where it was going. It was just a complete waste. We didn't go there with a real plan, like, oh, we're going to build schools and hospitals and, you know, and roads and soccer stadiums. And no, it's just spend money, give money to warlords, like, and everybody was stealing money. The defense contractors, everyone was stealing money over there. So nothing got done. It was a complete waste. But the handful of people that were like trying to do the right thing over there, they're pretty pissed off, and they've started this Legend Group. So I just found this woman on TikTok, and she's supporting them. I don't know if she's a veteran herself, but I wanted to show you guys this video and then show you what the Legend Group, what their website is like.
In August 2021, President Biden abandoned America's longest wartime ally in Afghanistan, and as a result, terrorists took over the country, and thousands of our Afghan allies suddenly needed to be rescued. At that time, Russia saw President Biden's retreat, decided to invade Ukraine, and as a result, the Ukrainians also needed evacuation. And so we began accepting humanitarian parole applications to permit these two people legal entry into the U.S. and save their lives. But here's what happened next. 66,000 Afghan parole cases received, only 200 approved, 96,000 Ukrainian cases received, and 68,000 approved.
You see that number right there? All of a sudden, boom. This is the thing we talked about on the show, and I'm against Putin invading Ukraine. I don't like it. And what is happening to the Ukrainian people is awful, but America has helped contribute to that situation. But remember when the corporate media here in the US and in Western Europe was like, oh my God, these Ukrainian refugees, it's so awful. America doesn't seem to care about refugees that we've created. And it was very obvious. It was literally like, oh my God, there's blonde-haired, blue-eyed refugees. This is awful. I mean, brown skin, dark hair refugees in the Middle East. What are we going to do about it? That literally was the attitude. And this is just stark evidence to support that. Again, I like facts and numbers. I like stats. I like data. Here's some data that supports it.
Afghans were charged $575 per application, while Ukrainians were charged $0. Afghans.
And let's be honest, Afghanistan is one of the poorest countries in the world. $575 is to an Afghan. That's like $5,000 or $10,000 to you and me. That's a lot of money to them. And Ukraine didn't have to pay anything. And again, this isn't a slight on the Ukraine people. I just want to show you how we're mistreating the Afghan people, a country we were supposed to help and didn't. We didn't help anything. In 2006, we diverted a lot of people from Afghanistan to fight in Iraq, which the military-industrial complex is not about winning wars or change. It's just about endless war, just always some new. That's why, you knew something in Ukraine. Let's push that. Let's push Putin into that. Let's keep moving NATO east and east and east so that we prod Putin into a war. So, now we got to spend $70 billion in the Ukraine. It'll be hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars by the time the Ukraine thing is over.
Were required an in-person interview at a U.S. embassy, but not the Ukrainians. Afghans needed to show proof of vaccination. Ukrainians didn't. The State Department collected $20 million from Afghans. You can guess what they collected from Ukrainians. Zero. We're helping those who were betrayed. Please support the Legend Group.
I mean, so Afghanistan is the poorer country. Ukraine is not a poor country. Prior to the war, it wasn't a poor country. It had a decent economy. And Afghanistan is a completely poor country, and it's made worse by America just going there and indiscriminately bombing and not helping it. We didn't go there. I always say this. We were in Afghanistan for 20 years. Imagine if we were still fighting the Japanese in 1961, 20 years after the attack on Pearl Harbor, which is when the United States joined the World War II. By 1964, they had the Tokyo Olympics because they had a Marshall Plan. We were at war with the Japanese for about 4 years, and then we spent a bunch of money rebuilding that country. And the 64 Tokyo Olympics was where it was like Japan coming back to the world stage, like you're welcomed back after World War II, 20 years after the end of the war. It was really like a welcome back to the world. You're not an empire that went nuts. That's what that was. Afghanistan is completely in shambles. You would think for $3.5 trillion, like Afghanistan, the Taliban would be done. It'd be a thriving democracy. They'd have like a female prime minister. And, we could have spent money building soccer stadiums and building up like their Olympic teams to get them to compete, to get the whole country involved. There's so many things we could have. No, we just bombed it and stole money. But I want to talk about this Legend Group. I got this directly from their website. Legend Group is a veteran-operated non-governmental organization led by an Afghan-American U.S. Army combat veteran. We are a group of American patriots who came together after the August 21 forceful invasion of the Afghan capital with one vision: to restore America's honor by solving the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan. We have assisted hundreds of individuals reach safety and provided free meals and medical support to thousands of their allies. I just found out about this group. They seem like legit to me. I couldn't find anything negative about them on the internet. Like there's some cover organization for the CIA. I couldn't find anything like that. They seem legit to me. So I just wanted to show you, and regardless of that organization, these stats are pretty overwhelming and pretty alarming. And it's just typical American blundering. We've been doing it in Vietnam. This is just like we come in, oh, we're here to help. We blow stuff up, and a handful of wealthy people profit, and generals pat themselves on the back. And like regular enlistees and, mid-level officers go there to try to do the right thing, and it's awful. And we have 22 vets a day that commit suicide. Part of it is because they probably went over them. What the hell was I fighting for? I was told I was fighting terrorism and I was restoring democracy, and that's not what we did. No clear plan. 4 presidents. Bush had it for 8 years. Obama had it for 8 years. Trump had it for 4. Biden yanked it in his first year. It's just appalling to me. So I appreciate that the woman at TikTok putting those statistics out there so we're all aware of them. And again, we're sending all this money to Ukraine. Remember Zelensky before the invasion in the beginning of the year was like, the West is making this problem worse. Remember that? I do. He said that. And now he's like, give me money because he needs it, I guess. But we helped start this war. America makes me so mad. It is such a disappointment. And I didn't vote for Biden. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Hillary in 2016, and nor did I vote for Trump in 2016. I won't vote for these people. I won't vote for one of these parties. So if you're not happy with Biden, there's a lot to not be happy with, but you think the solution is to get the Republicans back in there, you're deluding yourself. Because the data, the stats are the stats. It doesn't matter who's in power. Because they're basically puppets by the ruling elites. and the military industrial complex. They spent $1 million. They gave Joe Biden $3.1 million for his 2020 campaign. They gave Trump $2.7 million. So if you think it would have been different, we'd be in some war somewhere, regardless if Trump was president or Biden was president. Whoever becomes the next one in 2024, will be more war. There'll be some new big threat, China, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's all crazy. It's all just for profit. We have no functioning society. That's why we're 13th in the world in infrastructure, but number 1 in war, because we don't spend money on our own citizens. And then we scam like Afghan citizens. And we use the Ukrainian citizens as pawns. If you're Ukrainian, I wouldn't be very trusting of the United States government. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth, and shave your knuckles for justice. Thanks for watching. Boom. Don't forget, we got tour dates. We're doing 3 government secret shows in Europe. Stockholm, Sweden, October 3rd. Berlin, October 5th. London, October 12th. And then I'm doing a stand-up tour, getting ready for my comedy special taping. New York City, October 18th. Madison, Wisconsin, October 20th. Detroit, October 21st. That ticket link is now up. Cincinnati, October 22nd, and Chicago, October 26th. All those ticket links are at grahamelwood.com. Come see us out at a live show. It's amazing. You're not alone. You're not a crazy lefty. Nobody believes. You're in a room full of people that agree with you. You laugh. You have a great time. It's an awesome night. We'll see you out there. Boom.